Hey you, welcome back to The Afterwards. I'm your host, Miley Navarro. And if you're tuning in for the first time, be warned, this is not your typical self-help podcast. It's not going to be filled with fluffy affirmations and toxic positivity. We're here to dissect the messy, uncomfortable truths about life, loss, and all the nonsense in between. Today, we're diving deep into something that's been weighing heavily on my heart. It's the idea of worthiness. How so many of us walk around feeling like we're just not good enough, that we're not deserving enough. Not enough, period. And how that deeply ingrained belief system actively blocks us from receiving the very blessings that we are meant to receive. I'm talking about the love, the joy, the abundance, and the peace that is really rightfully ours, but that we push away because somewhere along the line we were taught that we just don't deserve it. Now, I know this might sound a little blah, blah, woo-woo for some of you out there, and trust me, I get it. I used to roll my eyes at all of that manifest your destiny crap too. But after losing Kingston, after having my entire world shattered and pieced back together with duct tape and glue, it's been put back in ways that I never could have imagined, and I see things differently. I started to realize that there is something to the whole spiritual awakening thing, that we are connected to something bigger than ourselves, that we are all connected to one another. And maybe we do all serve this grand purpose with this massive soul contract to fulfill. The tricky part, if we're all connected and we're all chosen, how come not everyone answers the call? That's the thing. Not everyone will answer the call. Not everyone steps into their power and embraces their destiny. Why? Because they're too busy wrestling with their own demons, with these limiting beliefs that we have been accumulating like dust bunnies under the bed for years. We become stuck in this cycle of self-sabotage, and we start to convince ourselves that we're just not worthy of anything more than mediocrity. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to unpack today. It's how we collect these layers of unworthiness, and over time, how they start to cloud our vision, muffle that inner voice that's supposed to tell us how great we are. And most importantly, we're going to start talking about how we can chip away at that crap and reclaim the birthright of joy, love, and abundance. So buckle up, my little buttercups. It's probably going to be a bumpy ride. I promise? Well, I'm hoping that it's going to be worth it. So there's always an origin story. Why did I bring this up? Where does unworthiness come from? Mine goes pretty deep. Our feelings of unworthiness, they stem from something. So let's get real. It's not like we're born hating ourselves, at least I wasn't. God, I thought it was pretty great for a while. As babies, we are convinced that we are the center of the universe. You cry, you get fed. You poop, someone cleans it up. Life is fucking great. So what happens? How do we go from believing that we deserve the world, believing that we are meant to be catered on, hand and foot, 24/7, to eventually one day thinking that we're lucky just to maybe get a crumb? Well, it's this slow, insidious process, honestly. It starts with these little micro traumas that we experience as children. Now, I'm not talking major capital T trauma here, although those are definitely going to play a role. I'm actually talking about these seemingly insignificant moments that end up leaving this lasting imprint on our developing psyches. Think about it. Think about a time that your parents dismissed your dreams as unrealistic. Let's say you wanted to be an artist, and the response you got was, "That's cute, honey, but how are you going to actually make a living?" Or what about the time you were bullied at school for being different? "You're fat. You're too skinny. God, you talk too much." Or what about a time that you failed a test, and it felt like you were just this massive disappointment, telling yourself, "I'm so stupid, I'll never be good enough." What about a time you experienced comparisons between you and your siblings? Why can't you be more like your sister? Your brother gets good grades. Your brother has money. What about the one time you asked for help and the response you got was that you should go figure it out yourself? If you want it bad enough, you'll do it yourself. Each and every one of these experiences on their own might not seem like a very big deal. Think about it. Over time, when you get to my age, that's a lot of time to rack up all of these self-defeating thoughts. When you're told these things over and over and over again, they accumulate. They become the lens through which we see ourselves and the world. I'm going to take you way back. For me personally, this started in 7th grade. This is the first time I remember truly feeling less than. I felt this distinct shift in my self-perception, where suddenly I was hyper aware of every single thing that was not perfect about me. All of those flaws, every single imperfection, my lack of everything, whatever it was that all the cool girls seemed to possess that I didn't have, that made the list. I started comparing myself to everyone around me. And of course, I was always coming up short. I had internalized this message that I was never going to be good enough and that I didn't belong anywhere. That seed of unworthiness kept growing. It sprouted again in high school when this guy that I was in love with, completely infatuated with, basically told me I wasn't worth his time. It blossomed into my 20s when I made a series of horrible decisions that only left me feeling less than. We'll just say less than. We'll throw on some ashamed at the same time. Oh, and also regretful. Before I knew it, I was living my life from this place of deep-seated insecurity. I was constantly seeking external validation, trying to prove my worth to everyone and anyone except for myself. I was terrified of falling apart. I was terrified of being a failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of being seen for who I truly was, a flawed, imperfect person. And so the only thing I could do was to protect myself, of course, not realizing that I had started blocking myself from receiving all of the amazing things that life had in store for me. I was blocking myself from receiving all good things that were meant for me because I didn't believe I deserved them. There's this thing called the art of self-sabotage, and it's exactly how we keep ourselves stuck. So we've established that we accumulate these beliefs of unworthiness over time, but how does that translate into actual tangible self-sabotage? How do we actively block ourselves from receiving all of the love, all of the joy, and all of the abundance that we crave? Oh, my loves, let me count the ways. We dismiss opportunities without even considering them. Oh, I could never do that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I don't have that experience. We downplay our accomplishments. That was just luck. Anybody could have done that. We push away people who try to love us. Oh gosh, if they only really knew me. Well, if they spent just a little bit of time with me, they'd leave anyways. Once they see the real me, they're just going to be over it. We self-medicate with unhealthy coping mechanisms. I'm just going to have one more drink. Another cigarette's not a big deal. Insert any vice here to numb the pain. We stay in toxic situations because we believe we don't deserve any better. This is one that I sat in for decades. This one is so familiar. This one applies to me more than anything else on the list. Why? Because there is comfort in consistency. Something is better than nothing, even when it's awful. We reject compliments. Oh, this thing, it's old. Oh, thank you, but you shouldn't have. No, not me. Really? You think so? Why do we do that? What is that? We don't take risks. Why? Because we're afraid to fail. We don't let other people see us. Why? Because we don't believe we're meant to be seen. Because if they saw the real us, they would realize, just like I already know, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not enough. Does any of it sound familiar? Yeah, me too. For decades, I was a master of self-sabotage. For years, I have been a master of self-sabotage. I could get so close to achieving something I really wanted, and inevitably, I would find a way to fuck that shit up. Every new relationship I'd ever started, I could easily pick a fight or push my partner away because I was convinced that they were just going to leave me anyways. Anybody else have those daddy issues? Yeah, same. It doesn't matter how much I love the guy. It doesn't matter how great he is. Prime example, the love of my life. He popped back into my life after Kingston died. And I managed to tell him, fuck you, within a month of talking to him. I haven't talked to this guy in 18 years. And I managed to tell him, fuck you. Who does that? Somebody who has suffered loss after loss, rejection after rejection, and who believes that they are no longer worthy of that person's attention. You land a great job and you procrastinate or make careless mistakes because you didn't think you were capable of succeeding in that job. I can take it one step further. I don't even go to the interviews because I don't think I'm good enough in the first place to even be considered for a job that's more extravagant than stocking shelves at Target at night. And I don't know how I got to that point because let's be honest, I'm fucking amazing. I kept a little boy alive for 7 years who I was told was going to die. I don't even know how I did it. I kept my other children happy, attended to. I kept myself alive. And I did it all with no help, with no one else. That's amazing. That is fucking talented. That is resourceful. And that is navigating high pressure situations under intense pressure. I did that. And yet I won't go apply at a restaurant because I don't think I'm good enough. It's a vicious cycle, you know. The more I self-sabotage myself, the more unworthy I really feel. And the more unworthy I feel, the more I self-sabotage myself. I'm literally trapped in this self-made prison, and I do not know how to escape. Or at least I didn't. Until I got a spiritual slap in the face. I thought that Google would diagnose me with a psychotic breakdown. As it turns out, it's a spiritual awakening. So how am I breaking free of this cycle of vicious self-destruction? And how am I finally starting to believe that I am worthy of receiving these great things? Well, it definitely didn't happen overnight. Overnight transformation would have been amazing, but fuck no, that's not me. I mean, I will buy the package. I will see it and I want it. I'll go all in. I mean, shit, I'm telling you this story right now. Me doing this podcast alone, telling you all these things about me, such a major risk. I'm terrified. I know for a fact there are going to be so many people who hate everything I say. They're going to hate my voice. When they see what I look like, they're going to hate that too. I'm going to be told I'm crazy, that heaven's not real, signs don't exist. My son's in the ground. My son's burnt to ashes. He can't possibly be calling me from an iPad in the middle of the night from underneath Zuma's bed. This is wild. But this was my first step in breaking that cycle and believing that I can't achieve great things because after Kingston died, I know for a fact I'm meant to do something with that. You don't go through the experiences you go through in this life to do nothing with them. That defeats the purpose of your soul contract. You go through those challenges and you overcome these traumatic events and situations. And you overcome these mental hurdles and you either become I mean, does anybody know anybody? Sorry. Does anybody know anybody who never lost the light for life as they became an adult? You know, I only knew one person in my entire life that no matter what life gave to them, wasn't angry. That this person died believing they were the best at fucking everything. To give you one guess. Yeah, Kingston. That kid thought he was the best at kickball. He really truly believed that he was the fastest one on the playground, that he was the best hitter on his baseball team. He believed it. He believed it to his core until the day he died. Now, I don't know if he meant seriously on this planet that he was the best at all those things. Maybe. But that old soul wisdom, something tells me that he was giving us insight to something beyond that literal meaning of the fastest at kickball and the fastest on the field. My transformation was not sudden, and it did not happen overnight. I have barely just gotten started. This is a gradual process. It is a series of small and sometimes painful shifts. Sometimes these are some fucked up revelations. These little realizations that are leading me to this major spiritual awakening. Every day, my vision is more and more clear. I care less and less what everybody else thinks. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still flip out and say fuck, you know. But where did this start? Where did the awakening start? With most things in my life, it really started with Kingston. Losing him was hands down the most excruciating experience of my entire life. It shattered my heart into a million pieces. And I felt like I had lost everything. Now I know it's fucked up to say that. I have other kids. Life is worth living, I know. But until you've lost a child and until you've lost your person, that person who, when they were born, felt like the missing piece of everything you were meant to be is taken away from you again. You just don't. I don't want you to get it. I hope that the way you get it is far less painful. But in the midst of all this darkness, something so unexpected has really happened. There are signs, and I say this every time we talk, but I really see them. I literally hear them. I see things that other people don't. A lot of the times I see something before it even happens, or I'll dream about it, or, that's basically it. I see and hear things that other people don't. And it's happening more and more. It's scary. I can feel him I feel Kingston when he is in a room with me. I have heard his voice. I've heard him call for me from the other room. I have seen him out of the corner of my eye in my house and on the playground at his school. I smell him in weird places that he's never been. It's going to sound crazy to some of you. Honestly, I probably would have thought I was crazy too before all of this happened, but I cannot deny what I have experienced and continue to see and experience every single day. I have had dreams that feel more real than my reality, more real than me sitting here speaking into this microphone right now. I have seen numbers that seem to carry a specific message that turn around and link directly to something so specific that you just can't make it up. There's this undeniable connection to Kingston, even though he's no longer here in a physical form. And through all of those experiences, I've started to realize that death is just not the end. I don't even think birth is the beginning, dude. Like, I don't even know how to begin to explain it. And if I tried to, it really would just be me regurgitating it from some book, because I haven't gone through the experience to fully understand life and death, if that makes any sense in itself. There's so much more to life than what we can see and touch. And I'm just barely scratching the surface of this. So just bear with me. I'm just a mom who lost her kid trying to make sense of her life. And talking to a microphone is a little bit easier than talking to myself because it feels a little less batshit. But I know for sure that we're all a part of something so much bigger. We're a part of something so much more profound that any of us can begin to understand. And it's not until we either have like this near-death experience or we actually leave this world that we're going to be like, oh, Miley was right? You know? And just so you know, I will be waiting on the other side for you to come and find me and be like, okay, you were right. Which, that's how things go around here. I'm right a lot. Nobody listens. So I hope somebody gets something from this. But, I started to question everything I thought I knew about myself and the world. And I started to examine those old beliefs and the feelings of unworthiness that I'd been carrying for so long. And I started to ask myself, if Kingston didn't feel that way, and he had every reason to, why am I this way? Where did this all come from? And are any of these things that I say about myself, are they even true? And why the fuck would I want to live my life based on these lies that I tell myself? Lies that other people have convinced me to believe to limit myself and put myself in this little box that, honestly, I think that they're just jealous and it's easier for them if I live in a tiny little box where I can't make a difference or scare them or make them feel like they're not enough. But I'm done and you should be done. So anything that you've held yourself back from doing or that you've thought about yourself that might not be true, write that shit up. I want you to grab, you know what, do this. Think about one thing. Just start there with me. Bear with me for 1 minute. Think about one thing that you've said about yourself that you know deep in your heart, it's not true. I'll pick this. I'll give you mine. Mine is that I'm incapable of being in a relationship, that I'm unlovable because I'm difficult. That's not true. There's just a lot of really weak people out there that, just kidding, I'm sorry. No, it takes a strong man to be with me. You got to be a little bit of everything. So I'm going to take that belief right now, the one that says I'm not worthy of love because the love of my life, for some reason, never really picked me. But hindsight's 2020. I'll catch him on the other side too. And he'll be like, you were so right. I'm sorry. But let's just grab it. Invisible, reach out. And I want you to grab that belief and I want you to hold it in your hand. I want you to look at it. And it's kind of ugly, right? Mine is anyways. So I'm going to ball it up, rolling it in my hands right now. It's actually decent size, like the size of a basketball. And I'm just going to fill it with a little bit of love and light. And I am going to literally with my two hands, picture it. I am throwing it out the window. That does not belong here. This does not belong to me. And I am sending it back to wherever it came from with love and light. It does not have any space here. Just do that real quick. And I literally feel lighter because it's not true. And I'm sure somebody will say something to me tomorrow or the next day, and it'll make me question whether or not that was how stupid that sounded, right? But again, just reminding yourself constantly, you have to remind yourself when you slip back into those behaviors They're not healthy, they're not right, and they are not serving your highest good. They're just not. So again, where did these beliefs come from? Are they really true? And do you want to continue to live your life based on these limiting beliefs? The answer for me is a resounding no. So let's do this. Let's think about rewriting the narrative. So I had this spiritual awakening. I realized that I'd been living my life from a place of unworthiness and self-sabotage. Now I've decided I want that to change. But how? How do you dismantle a lifetime of negative programming and convince yourself that you are now worthy of abundance, joy, and love? Rolling up my invisible ball of limiting beliefs, unfortunately, won't solve the problem. It's a good start. I'm still figuring out what the solution is. To be honest, I have no idea. Baby steps. The invisible ball of whatever crap that is, that's a good baby step. Here are just a few of the things that I have been able to do along the way. I am able to acknowledge the pain. That is something that I could have never done before. I have been willing to look at these painful experiences from my past without judgment and acknowledge how they shaped my beliefs about who I am. I challenge those negative thoughts. When I catch myself thinking something negative about myself, I challenge that thought and I ask myself, is this shit really true? Is there another way to look at this? How would Kingston see me? Would Kingston believe this is true? That one's a kicker. If you have kids and you know how they look at you, right? Like you walk on water. Would you say it to your children? No. Shut up and throw that shit away. Practice self-compassion. We need to treat ourselves with the same type of kindness and understanding that we would offer our friends who are struggling. How would we treat our children? How would we treat our best friend or our great-grandma? Do that. Set boundaries. Do not say yes to things that drain you. Do not give away your energy freely. God, I'm guilty of doing this. Say no. Start saying no to the things that do not align with your values or that drain your energy. Prioritize your well-being. Who's taking care of you right now? Anyone else? I sure as heck don't have anybody else taking care of me. And if no one's taking care of me but me, where should my priorities be? You have to prioritize yourself. So set boundaries. Say no to the things that don't align with your values. Do not give up your energy freely unless it serves your higher purpose, and prioritize your own well-being. Celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge and honor every step that you take towards self-love, worthiness, and acceptance, no matter how small they may feel. Doing this podcast, that's a big deal. Huge. Trust the timing of the universe. It's one of my least favorite things to do. I really, really enjoy instant gratification. It's one of my favorite things in the world, instant gratification. But sometimes you have to be patient. Trust divine timing. Everything will come to you as long as you're doing the work exactly when you're meant to have it. Replace fear with faith. What is faith? Believing in what you cannot see. Trusting and believing in something that you cannot touch with your bare hand. And that's a hard thing to do. But fear, you cannot touch that either. You cannot hold it. There is no difference between fear and faith other than one serves your higher purpose and the other one does not. The other one will put you in a box and it loves to keep you there. Fear loves company as much as misery. Ask the universe for what it is you want. You are allowed to ask for everything you want. Just ask for it. The worst thing that's going to happen is the universe is going to say no. That's okay. Be brave enough to ask. And practice gratitude. When you do receive the things you want, thank you. I see it. Thank you. So simple. But perhaps the most important thing I've been doing, and this is where I might lose some of you, is connecting with my intuition. I am learning to listen to that inner voice that knows exactly what's best for me, even when it doesn't make logical sense. And oftentimes, it's not what I want. My gut is on point 24/7. My gut will tell me to do something that I do not want to do. That doesn't matter. It's never been wrong. Lean into that little voice. Lean into those gut instincts. For years, I had been ignoring my intuition. I had been dismissing it as, you know, I don't even know what I thought it was. I think I knew exactly what it was, and I just didn't like it because it didn't sound fun. It would ask me to do, responsible things, to do the right thing, the hard thing. But that's usually where the rewards lie, is on the other side of the hard work. It's been terrifying. It's been so uncomfortable. Gosh, it's been miserable. I mean, like waves of anxiety, waves of gratitude, and all of them result in tears for me. It's been super messy and really weepy. I mean, my wrinkles are next level. And it's not even because I was crying over my son. I was crying because everything I'm learning is like, wow, it's been right in front of my face my entire life. And I just didn't ever notice. What I wasn't expecting is how liberating and empowering this experience has been. I did not expect that. I said it once. I don't know if I've shared it, and it sounds crazy to say, but there are days that I feel like Kingston died so that I could live. I had a friend of mine tell me after he passed away that Kingston literally gave me all of the tools, showed me the way, gave me the connections, basically set me up for Kingston set me up for a win. The alley-oop for the dunk, and he's just waiting for me to jump. I never expected that. I just got goosebumps as I said that, actually. So we are onto something. And I think he really liked the basketball reference. Honestly, it's going to make me cry. Yeah. Holy fuck. The waves of, that's the wave of emotion I'm talking about. The waves of emotion where right now, the goosebumps I got are so intense they hurt. And I have a lump in my throat and my eyes are watering. And I don't know why, because I'm not sad. It was just, that's that intuition. And you have to learn to feel it when it happens. That's the intuition right there. It is recognizing those feelings when they happen. The basketball analogy about Kingston throwing the alley-oop and me going in for the dunk and my physical response to my own words were so intense that I'm on the verge of tears. That's not because I think that what I said is so profound. Kingston, my spirit guides, God, he is proud of me. And that was him putting his hands on my shoulder and saying, yes, girl, yes, queen, slay, girl. That's God going, yes, queen, you're finally listening. Good job. And that I know you all have felt it once or twice, that you got the goosebumps when you knew you were onto something, or you just knew, right? Try to think of an experience when you've had that happen to you, and how did that feel? It feels good. I mean, it causes wrinkles and I can't afford Botox, so please subscribe so I can monetize my misery. That'd be great. Thanks. I'm finally starting to believe that I'm worthy. I'm finally starting to believe that I deserve so much more than anything that I have ever allowed myself to even dream of. I am deserving of love. I'm deserving of a safe and happy and functional relationship. I am deserving of the material things. I'm deserving of the rewards that come with hard work being put in. I am worthy of love, joy, and abundance, and that I have a purpose here. I have a unique gift and something incredible that I am meant to and going to offer the world. There is a gift that I am going to share. And I am finally ready to receive all of those great things that have been meant for me and waiting for me. Your worthiness matters. And there's a ripple effect that comes with knowing that. And you might be thinking by now, okay, Miley, that's fucking great for you, but why the hell should I care about your journey to self-worthiness? What is in it for me? I'm going to tell you a little secret. Your worthiness matters, not just for your own happiness and well-being, but for the well-being of the entire planet. Think about it. When you believe in yourself, you are more likely to take risks and to pursue your dreams. You are more likely to create something beautiful and meaningful that can inspire others. And through that inspiration, you can change the world. It may not feel like it. You may not see it right away. You may not even see it before you die. I don't think that Kingston knew exactly what he was doing, but I know that Kingston has changed lives around the fucking globe because he believed in himself. And when you love yourself, you're more likely to treat others with kindness and compassion. You're more likely to create a more loving and supportive community when you are being kind and loving to yourself. And we all know, especially right now, that there is nothing more this world could use than a little bit of love, kindness, and compassion. And when you are aligned with your higher purpose, with your purpose in general, when you are aligned with your purpose, you are more likely to make a positive impact on the world. You are more likely to contribute something bigger than you ever dreamed, something bigger than yourself. Gabby Bernstein has said it, when you learn to let go of the fear of not being enough, you begin to receive all that you've been desiring. Matt Frazier, one of my favorite mediums, he reminds us that your loved ones are always trying to send you signs and that the universe is constantly working in your favor, but you have to allow yourself to receive those blessings. Your worthiness is not a selfish pursuit. It's actually an act of service. It's a way of contributing to the collective good. Because believe it or not, like it or not, we are all connected. By embracing your worthiness, you are not just changing your own life, you will change the lives of everyone around you. Whether they like it or not, you are going to change their world. You will change your world. You will change the collective. By embracing your worthiness, you are not just changing your own life, you are making a difference in the world. You can change the world. All by loving yourself. Who knew? So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Embrace your worthiness, even if it's one step at a time. Okay, so let's pretend you're convinced. Even if you're not, I'm going to say that you are, because that's a baby step. Prime example. Today, we're convinced. So today, we're going to start believing that we're worthy. You right there, yes, you are worthy. I know you do. You want to unlock the blessings that have been waiting for you. You're going to do that, and you're going to start doing it today. Where are you going to start? Pick one. Here's a few practical ideas that you could take today to start embracing your worthiness and start unlocking all that you were meant to receive. 1, start paying attention to your thoughts. What have you been telling yourself about yourself throughout the day? Read that list out loud. Pretend that you're reading it to your child. How did it feel? How would your child feel after you read that list? Are your thoughts kind and supportive? Are they loving and uplifting? Or are they critical, judgmental, and self-defeating? If they are the last 3, that list goes in the fucking garbage. Number 2, write down the things you're grateful for, even if the only thing that you're grateful for today is that you have air in your lungs. And if that doesn't even do it for you, do it for your pet, do it for your cat. I don't know, figure it out. I don't care if there's only one thing on the list. Find one. There's got to be one. And if anybody says there's not, I want you to call me. Find me on any of our social media platforms. You'll find me. One thing, once a day. The next day, make it 2. And so on and so on. I think you get the point. Number 3, get out there. There are workshops and live events happening all over the place. Dude, we're in LA. There is woo up the hoo-ha, okay? And if you don't want to be around people, that's okay. Guess what? They still do things on Zoom all the time. And if you can't find anything, again, I'll help you. If you are low on ideas, check out our social media or theafterwards.co. There's something, but hello, we're in LA. There's plenty of stuff to do. I want you to find a workshop or an event that provides a deeper insight on how to apply these teachings in your life. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's just this. Maybe it's literally just this. And you know what? I was going to actually say that's lame, sucks for you. But you know what? Baby steps. We're learning together. Community. And together, we're going to grow and we're going to change the world. We're going to challenge the negative thoughts, like the one where I was just about to tell you, sucks for you that all the spiritual nourishment you're getting today is coming from me. But it doesn't. Because what it is, we're relating to each other. Together, we're going to realize we're all in the same place and that we all do the same self-defeating crap. And nothing is more helpful than knowing that you're not alone in that crap. So challenge those negative thoughts. And when you notice one of those negative thoughts, ask yourself, is that shit real? If not, kick it to the curb. Do something that makes you feel good today. Take a bath, read a book, listen to music. I don't care if it's only for 5 minutes and it's in the closet eating Reese's peanut butter cups by yourself while your children pound on the door when you have your AirPods in your ears. That's not something I have ever done. I don't know why that was so detailed. Just do something that nourishes your soul and reminds you that you are worthy of joy and pleasure, even if it comes in an orange wrapper. Say no to something that drains you. Set one boundary and honor your own needs. Even if that one boundary is giving yourself the 5 minutes to be in the closet to eat the Reese's peanut butter cup without sharing, all by yourself. Surround yourself with supportive people. Try to spend some time with people who lift you up and believe in you. And if being by yourself is what works for you right now, baby steps. That's okay too. Another thing, this one's one of my favorites, because really, how do you do it? You get out of your own way. Just stop working so hard to earn it and just let it come. Just receive it. Good things are meant to come your way. And be open to receiving what you deserve. Remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There's going to be plenty of bad days, but there are going to be so many great days. There will be good days and there will be fucking off the chain days. There's going to be times when you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But like Kingston would say, never, never give up. Because 5 minutes later, you could be walking on sunshine. Just keep showing up for yourself and keep challenging any of those negative beliefs. Just keep practicing a little bit of self-love. You are worthy. You are deserving. And you are capable of creating a life filled with all of the love and the happiness and the abundance that you have dreamed of. There is a sort of magic when you start to embrace your worthiness. I hope that this conversation about worthiness has somehow resonated with you and that it inspired you in some way to start embracing your own inherent value. It's really what has held me down my entire life. Every single time something would get great, I would ruin it. Every single time. I did not realize I was doing it until like a week ago. So, welcome to the party. You're not alone. But that's going to be it for today. And I hope that you were able to grab anything from this, even if it's just an excuse to sit in the closet with the bag of Reese's peanut butter cups and you have to tell your husband, well, Miley said I have to. It's the one thing I'm doing for myself today. That works. I count. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. Perfect is boring anyways. This is about accepting yourself, flaws and all. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of all that you are meant to receive, even when you don't feel like it. I am still very much at the very beginning of this journey. I am only barely beginning to learn to love and to accept myself, and I do it just a little bit more every day. And I am so grateful to have all of you along with me on this crazy ride. So this week we got goals. Do one thing that scares you, something that pushes you outside of your comfort zone, and that reminds you you're capable of doing amazing things. Check yourself, change the narrative. And if you need a little reminder, here it is. You are worthy of love. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Just thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for listening. And if this resonated with you, if this did anything for your soul whatsoever, even if it just made you laugh because you're like, listen to this lady, she's just going on and on about how great she is. Share it with a friend. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next episode where we will be talking about... I'm not that organized. To be determined. Until then, keep laughing, keep loving, and asking the big questions. I'll see you next time.